Alright, first of all, I think we're going to start off with the different valve types that we use in industries, and obvious one can be industry specific, like for now it's Sasol guys, yeah, so one can talk petrochemical and say what types of valves do we use, but let's use that as an example, because I think in any case Sasol petrochemical company uses all these types of valves that you use in the industry in any case because of the various processes that they've got, whether it's low pressure, high temperature and all those things. Alright, so I'm not going to do all the talking. I'll go back to that slide just now, so people can start off by telling me what types of valves do we use in the industry. Doesn't matter, just think of any valve that you, with your experience. Unfortunately, David is not allowed to answer a lot of questions because he's got the most experience in this industry, so because he's going to give me all the answers and I don't want that. Some interaction please. Last, any type of valve please?
Butterfly.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to list it quickly.
Ball valve.
Alright, ball valves, thank you.
Close
Valves. Yes, I like the pinch valves. Pinch valves. Alright. Gate valves, thank you. Some more?
Control valves.
If I wasn't a valve guy, you would have had me there. I was right. Okay?
May I add one?
Yes, please.
A plug valve.
Plug valves, thank you. Alright, some more. Let me just see what I'm missing here. Knife gate valves.
Yep.
You guys agree?
Can I add the best one?
Sorry?
Can I add the best one?
Yes, go for it.
Camflex?
I can't spell flex. I can't flex. What is flex can?
It's a
Seal
segmental ball.
What is a seal flex or what?
Segmental ball.
Yeah, okay, we'll get to that just now, because that's going to be
That's part of that.
different types of ball valves. Yeah,
Eccentric plug valve.
yeah, it's going to be. Okay, let's go to the next question, because that's what we're busy with now. That was my next question. What types of valves do we get? Okay, you said eccentric?
Eccentric plug valve.
Plug valves, yeah. Alright. Alright. Knife gate valves, I don't think there's knife gate valves, it's only a knife gate valve. I don't want to say high pressure and low pressure knife gate. When we say knife gate valves, it covers the whole spectrum. Alright. With the temperature, pressures and everything. Okay, on butterfly valves, what types of butterfly valves do we get? Roughly. Thank you, that's the question, that's the answers I want, sorry.
Start with a double eccentric and then a triple eccentric.
Triple, double.
Swing through. Concentric.
Can we call swing through normal?
It's
That's check valves, yeah. Disc valve. Let's say disc valve. It falls under disc valve. You're right, boss. No, thank you. It's disc valves. Okay, and then you also, believe it or not, you get plastic butterfly valves. If you don't believe me, I've got one.
Yeah, you get.
I don't know if you guys saw it. Oh, sorry. I should have been back to basics. This is a butterfly. Alright, so this is a butterfly. This thing opens 90 degrees. If I can open it. I don't know if it's leaking. This is a Camflex. You see, it's stuck. Alright, so this is basically what this valve does in one. So you got a pipeline, and this valve opens and closes. We're not going to talk automated too much because it's just for the different industries and different types of valves. That's not a discussion. Alright, so this is a mechanical operator, opening and closing. Then obviously you can actuate this stuff. With all instrument guys, but let's quickly just say then, what type of actuators can you put on all of these things? Let's just generalize on that. Yeah, hand operated on everything you can get, yes, sure.
Electric
Actuators, yes.
Hydraulic.
Pneumatics, hydraulic. Electro-hydraulic as well. And then also linear, alright. Linear actuators, whether it's pneumatic, hydraulic, that just means up and down like a glove valve.
Or a plug valve.
Up and down, linear motion, right?
Reciprocating.
Yeah, that's the more Proconics, higher grade version, yes. Alright, and then on the ball valve.
Z-ball.
Alright, I'm going to write it down here, but this is just a different type. You don't have to memorize this. The basic is these things. We just want to show you the varieties and how far into depth you can get into with all these valves. Alright, V-ball, yes.
Trunnion mount.
Trunnion mount.
Excuse you, say good shut up.
Nee, ek like it. Nee, ek waardeer het. Thanks.
Floating.
Floating, yes. And then one that nobody really knows in the industry, which I know well, which we sell a lot of millions in the country, but not as Mitech, as another company. It's a seat supported. They call it seat supported ball valve. Alright. I think that's pretty much on the ball valves, alright guys? Yeah, I think if you've got floating, you've got trunnion, you've got V-ball, yeah, that's the main three types, and then seat supported. Okay, globe valves. The types of globe valves that you can get.
Now we can go to town. No.
Okay, I'll put one in, I'll put a three-way globe valve. I'm not going to put all of it.
And this low noise. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's all different pieces.
Low noise. Okay, by the way, sorry guys, back to the basics. Globe valve. I showed you guys a butterfly valve. This packing is leaking, that's why I'm showing it my way. And I'm not supposed to show the Mitech badge here, sorry. Okay, so this is a globe valve, alright. It's a linear valve, alright. Okay, three-way low noise, I mean you can get a lot of terms. I mean if you get to the competitors and all that, they've all got different names for, let's call it high pressure drop globe valves. Because in that they've got various trims that they use. When I talk trim, I talk stuff that they put inside the valve. I mean, later on we'll get to specifics if they invite me to do globe valves or somebody else, they will talk about the different trims. Alright. But all these different companies that do globe valves in the world all works to the same principles eventually. They want to handle noise, they want to handle high pressure drops, etc., etc. But I don't want to go into that technical stuff. Alright, we get three-way valves. So what is this? This is a two-way valve, normal globe valve. Three-way valves, what else? Let's not talk low noise and ZZs and Tiger tools and all that. That's part of the trims inside globe valves, which we get to in the next presentation. What else can we get on globe valves?
Angle valves.
That's the one I was missing. Thank you, said that.
Yeah, sweep valves. Yeah.
Angle valves.
Goed wat ons nooit verkoopt.
Ons verkoop dit. Mitech verkoop dit. Ja, ek moet nie myself hier sleg bemark hier nie hoor. Angle valves, ja. And then sweep angle valves. Alright, I'm going to show you a couple of photos of these valves, and then you guys now, if this looks Greek to you guys now. I'm not saying I'm covering everything, but the photos I've got in a short amount of time will at least give you a clear indication. Okay, so we got three-way, two-way angle valves, and sweep angle valves. I think that's pretty much covered on the globe valve.
Just add anti-calf.
Anti-calf, which is also it's trims.
Yeah.
It's trims.
Okay.
Okay, on pinch valves we're not going to talk too much about it because you get an open frame and a closed frame. That's the two types you get for control and on-off. Okay, but I'm not going to get too much in detail there. There's an on-off pinch valve, let's call it like that, and a control.
Yeah.
Alright? Gate valves. I mean there's two types. Help me with that please. That's more mechanical. I don't think the instrumentation guys really use that. That's usually before and after your control valves or bypass valves, etc. etc. Gate valves. There is two types.
We'll put it two in.
No more straight for that guy, please. You get a rising and a non-rising gate valve. It's just a spindle. It's to do with the spindles, alright? So it's a non-rising and rising. Okay, plug valves quickly. You said eccentric.
Should we plug?
Yes, to be honest, I've been in the valve industry for 20 years and I haven't sold one plug valve.
Is that
And I'm nothing against plug valves.
The plug valve is the long. It's the same as the ball valve, but it's a plug. It's a long plug with a
Tapered plug.
tapered plug
Yeah.
with the holes in it. It just turns like a ball.
Yeah, that's a ball valve.
Same as a ball valve, but it's a long ball.
It's a 90 degrees.
It's a 90 degrees, it's a quarter turn valve. So it's okay.
It's a tapered ball valve.
There is a way, there is two things that they call it. It's non-lubricated and lubricated plug valve.
Yeah.
I mean, Sassel's got a lot of these valves in there, and we'll get to the applications just now. Alright, but let's not go. This is already confusing you because the way I write it sounds like I've got a doctor in something. Okay, then knife gate valves, and obviously the other one.
Yeah.
Okay. I think let's quickly go to number one, the butterfly valves. Where would you use butterfly valves?
Control the differential pressure.
Sorry?
To control the differential pressure.
Flow control.
You can? Yes? Let's say flow.
Flow, yeah.
We can do pressure. You guys agree?
You can do level.
You can do level, correct?
You can do temperature.
Now remember, when we say this,
Well, okay.
you guys are right, it depends on the applications.
Application.
If it's very precise control, you just can't chuck a butterfly and level in, it won't work, understand? You will have to go to a different type of valve. But we'll get to that just now. You'll see how this is going to fall into place just now.
On-off control.
Sorry?
On-off control.
On-off, yes.
Shut off.
Shut off.
So it can be used as an on-off
Be a
valve.
hole for shut off, right? Basically.
Yeah, hohe volume.
Shut off.
Let's just continue with this too because this goes hand in hand. Modulating, you agree? Slash control.
Emergency shutdown.
Remember butterfly valves? Okay, now I must actually be a bit more specific. Let's talk low pressure butterfly valves. I think that's the thing. Then you can't talk that, yes. Low pressure. Alright, let me quickly tell you guys. This is called soft rubber lined butterfly valves. Why is it a soft rubber lined butterfly? Because it's got a soft liner inside. The seal is a rubber. Alright. So basically, these things, this rubber can't handle high pressures.
High
It
temperature.
cannot handle high temperatures as well. So doesn't matter when you buy this from China, when you buy this from India, when you buy this from South Africa. These valves will normally be 10 bar rated maximum. So remember, we've got a 20 bar application. This is already eliminated. Am I right? Because this is 10 bar rated. Okay. The other thing is, the guys got cleverer. I mean, years ago there were specs written around valves, but as the technology improved, the specs wasn't adapted to that, so the specs has changed. These days now you can get this thing 15 bar rated. Alright. So you get 10 bar rubber line butterflies and you get 15 bar. Okay. So that's about the maximum this things can do. Soft rubber line butterflies. You can with this butterfly change this they call EPDM or natural rubber. Can handles about 80 degrees maximum. Okay. It can be a carbon steel disc, it can be a cast iron disc, and it can be a stainless steel disc. Bottom line is it can be Monella as well. But okay, when we get to the high pressure inside of this, that's where that's going to come in. Okay, everybody okay with what I've said about this? This is a low pressure butterfly valve. This is the cheapest valve that you can put into your system if you want to buy this. This is the cheapest valve you can get. Doesn't matter whether it's South Africa, anywhere in the world, in any industry. The mining industry is full of these valves because the mining industry is a low pressure industry. It's usually water and so forth. Alright.
While you've got it in that position, you can maybe just explain what's the biggest problem with butterflies. If it's in that position, how do you get it out of the line?
Yeah, I know, okay, there's one thing that the fitters still up until today do not realize. We can handle that. I've got half an hour, but I'll handle that one. There's one thing that I've experienced in my life in 20 years in valves is the fact is when the fitters install these valves. It's a can. But bottom line, when they install these things, they're supposed to close this thing, put it in the line, because you can't put it in like this because the disc is wider than what the body is. When you close this thing, you install it in the line, okay? Then they put the bolting and stuff. The problem is then they tighten it.
Yeah, you need
Alright, so this valve is, just quick, get it closed.
You need to close it first.
Alright, so now they install it in the line. So now they put the bolts through, there's the flange, this is the flange. By the way, this is what they call a wafer type. It's got no flanges. You see that? A flange is a round piece of metal with a lot of holes. In your pipeline, the pipe will come here, it's got a flange, and the other side the same. You slip this between the flanges, you put bolting through the flange, through this, through that, and you tighten this whole thing up. Okay, wafer type. Alright, so the fitter install this thing, and they tighten all these bolts. The biggest problem that they do is this disc is now in the center of this valve. You know this disc, yeah? It's in the center of the valve. The moment they tighten this lineup deforms around this disc, and the moment they open the valve, the disc breaks this liner. So the plant hasn't even started up and it has sheared already. It's broken. So what they should do is, I don't know if I'm answering that question, but this is what I've experienced. When they've installed this, they should open this and then tighten it. There's a golden rule about butterfly valves. You try and explain that to any fitters, and my brother's a fitter, I can't win that argument against him, but I don't know if I'm answering that.
What I mean is they've installed it now. Now it's open. Just open it.
Alright.
Now they want to take it out of the line. You can't.
No, you can't, because it's open. Correct.
Take a bigger crank.
So you have to close it and take the bolts out and open it up. Alright. Everybody okay with wafer type?
Yeah.
Just getting further to this, you also get luck type. Luck type means there's more of these holes around this body. Alright? Usually you will use luck type butterflies, in my 20 years experience, maybe 4 or 5 valves, usually at the end of a pipe, where you need good support. I mean, you're supporting it with 4 bolts in the line. At the end of the pipe, if there's high volumes coming through, you need more support, you would use a luck type butterfly. Alright? Okay, any questions on low pressure butterfly valves? Remember 10, 15 bar? You get 10 bar butterflies, 15 bar. You can change these rubbers and disc to suit the application. So if you got a sulfuric acid application, let's say 98% sulfuric acid, which is not too severe, but if the temperature is high, it is severe. If the temperature is low, it's not too severe. You can change these rubber liners to PTFE. Alright. So you got different liners for different types of mediums. Alright. On butterflies. Everybody okay with that? No Greek in here? Okay, so let's get now to the next one, which we said earlier on when you said about that. David said something. The high pressure side of it. Okay, we've handled butterflies pretty much. You can do this, but you're limited to 10 to 15 bar. And also, sorry, on the liners, it depends on your liners that you've put in there, that rubber liners. Usually those things can take 80 degrees Celsius, max. Change that liner to PTFE. A lot of those differ. Some guys say 180, some guys say 200, some say 220. I work on average usually about 200 degrees
80,
on PTFE.
what is the biggest minus degrees you can take?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the minus. But usually, when you get cryogenic, remember cryogenic, if you go to minus, good question, anything minus 100 degrees, it's called cryogenic.
Yeah.
You cannot do that with soft rubber line butterflies. You have to go to a high performance disc valve.
That's where your Monell and those.
That's where the Monell and those special terms comes in.
Until minus 100 is...
Yeah, I think these things minus 50. They don't really go, I don't think it will handle minus 100. Minus 50, 40 is what I've experienced. But nobody's really ever put EPDM liners or these normal 10, 15 bar rated butterflies on minus temperatures. The guys also say they'd rather go with the high performance
Most
butterflies.
people look about max temperatures, but there's also a problem with minimum temperatures.
No, you're right. Which will be an answer on the next high performance butterflies. Correct. Okay.
And sizes, buddy?
Sorry, good question. Sizes normally, people in South Africa start these things from 50 mil. If you get 40 mil, you're very lucky, and we've had a lot of inquiries previously in the project side on 40 mil. There is guys that does that, but you will have this thing from 50 mil up until, if you carry stock, you'll have it up until 450 millimeters. A 500 millimeter is an odd size, but I've sold a couple of those already. But you can get up into 1.2, 1.4 meters, quite wide ones.
Rand waterboard, we use them.
Rand waterboard is full of 1.2, 1.4, 1.6 meters. Low pressure butterflies? Correct. Okay, so let's get quickly to the high performance butterflies. We're still going to stick with the same. You guys agree? I'm not going to write it down. You can do flow, pressure, level, on-off or modulating with high pressure disc valves. Okay? also the tricentric, double off centric. What's the difference between the low pressure and high pressure side? Okay, the pressure, yeah. But I mean in the construction of the valve.
Not so much the pressure, it's differential pressure.
Differential pressure, big issue. Because this little thing, if you've got a big differential pressure across, this thing is going to go, the liners. The difference between a soft rubber lined low pressure butterfly and a high pressure disc valve is the fact that you don't have a liner like this. Everything is metal. Everything is metal. Alright? So I don't want to talk shutoffs as well. You get with these things classic shutoff. If there's ever a presentation about shutoffs, we can still do that as well, but it's just too complicated to discuss in the short amount of time that I've got. But this is normally a class 6 shutoff, so it will leak a bit through, but I mean a class 6 is not bad. 6 bubbles per minute, and if you want to go into technical, we can do that. But okay, so on the high performance butterflies, high performance says a lot. It means high temperatures, high pressures. Where this little low pressure valve can handle only 200 maximum, or 80 we said, but if you put PTFE in 200, these high performance disc valves, whether it's double, triple or centric, can handle temperatures up to 500 degrees Celsius. Alright? But that's, maybe it's old technology, I don't know, because yes, it's changing all the time. Alright, but you can have different types of materials, like David said, Monel. There's a lot of different metal seated, they call it metal seated butterfly valves. Okay, because everything is metal. There's no soft goods in that, correct. There's no soft goods in that. Okay, everybody okay with low pressure butterfly valves versus high pressure? Okay?
Although some of the guys use a laminated seat.
Okay.
You got it's
The solid and the laminated.
this status with
We can
with
talk
the
the whole
With a combination, yeah, with a combination. What Lars is saying is correct, you know. Sometimes you're on the edge of a low pressure butterfly, but on the edge of going over to a high pressure. And when it comes to quoting customers, it's a difficult decision to make because you're in betweener. Like I think that's more or less what you're referring to. Am I right? Yeah. Okay, but getting into that, it's just too technical. Getting there now. Okay, I just want to emphasize butterfly valves, low pressure, high pressure. The same with the sizes quivers on high performance butterflies, disc valves. Yes, a lot of people call them a lot of different names. But yes, temperatures much higher, pressures much higher because of metal to metal, not metal to soft goods.
price is much higher.
And price,
Oh, yes.
correct. We're going to have a nice slide here to show you the price comparison. To see why would you rather want to go on this application when you put in your process data, you rather want to go with this valve or this valve. So I've got a thing, but we're going to end off with that. Okay. What's the other one? Second one was ball valves. This is plastic ball, V-ball, trunnion and floating. Alright.
You didn't put segmental ball.
Yeah, you're right. That's also segmented ball. You're right. We didn't. Ball valves. Alright, let's go floating quickly.
And
let's go trunnion.
show the difference between them.
You know, the problem is if I do this training and stuff, I'm not going to have a job because if one of you works our shop, the stuff that we've learned in 20 years you're going to take, so I'm not going to, unfortunately I'm going to act stupid on certain questions because if you know that you're going to take my job. Okay, let's talk floating quickly. Okay, ball valves, on off. Everybody understand what's on off and modulating? Sorry I'm asking the questions because I was taught by a guy, Mike Sessions, this guy was just too technical. He always pitched training too high and most of the time we were more confused when we got home than when we went there. We were supposed to get trained. Oh, okay. Alright, on off and modulating. Everybody understands that, eh? Open, close, and when you put a position on to control the sync, increments of percentages to control in the line. Okay. Floating. Let me ask the question. Let's say we have a 80mm ball valve. Or let's say the client requests 80mm ball valve. Are you going to give him a floating or are you going to give him a trunnion? Because that's really the question. Am I right? I think getting to floating and trunnion. Floating ball valves floating is exactly the same as what the low pressure butterflies is. A floating ball valve is a ball valve that handles low pressures, low temperatures. You can ask anybody to quote you a 900-pound floating ball valve with a 900-pound the pressure and temperature obviously defines it already, you're not going to get floating ball valves. So this is low pressure. Ball valve, sorry. Got a little ball valve, yeah, believe it or not. This is a little ball valve. I think send it around, if you don't mind.
And just take
That's
the
a ball.
caps off so you can see the ball.
Yeah, but it's leaking through, so...
The caps on.
Yeah, still saw it didn't mean the...
Okay guys, so floating ball valves, low pressures, trunnion, ball valves, high pressures. What's the difference between, Jack, if you can just, that case of mine with a ball, the thing you showed me there in the office, I just want to show them that, what's the difference? The difference between a floating ball and a trunnion mount ball valve is, for those who are sleeping,
The normal ball.
a normal ball, remember it's 90 degrees, again, like this butterfly, it's just a ball valve. We'll tell you now, we're going to use this in applications. The difference is, on a ball valve, you can't see the ball now, but we'll send the ball around now, which is inside that valve, is it's not supported on top or bottom. So there's a ball inside the valve. They call it a floating ball valve because there's two seats, which is sealing against. So this little ball is floating between these two seats. All right. So, but it's for low pressures. When you get to the high pressure stuff, which is the trunnion mount, you've got a ball that's got a little shaft on top and at the bottom, that is the support for high pressure and high temperature applications. For the vibration, it's just more support. It's basically extra metal. Alright, so this is what the ball looks like. This is a little thing in that valve. You turn it like this, 90 degrees, closes your application, opens your application. Alright, this is a normal floating ball. Alright, when you get a trunnion mount, it will have a solid piece. It's casted as a one piece. You have a solid piece of material here at the top and at the bottom, which goes into the ball valve in the construction to support it more. For robust applications, for high pressure, high temperature. Let me call it high pressure drop applications, because a normal ball valve will just float. If it's a floating ball valve, you're not going to get a tight shutoff or the shutoffs that you would want. But on these ones that support it with the constructions and designs, I don't want to get into detail, you can achieve that shutoffs. Okay, so everybody understand a ball valve, 90 degrees, open and close, same sizes as what you can get on butterfly valves, also low pressures. And trunnion mounts, high pressures, high temperatures, okay, but more expensive than butterfly valves.
And they have the highest CVs in industry.
Correct. Why, David? Thank you for that. Why is the ball valve got the highest CVs? Because it's line size valves.
If you go full ball.
If you go full ball.
Correct.
That's another discussion. You get full ball and reduced ball. That just means quickly, for somebody who's interested in that, when you got a line, and it's a 4-inch line, 100 millimeters, you've got a 4-inch valve in there. So when this valve opens, that's now open, this is your line. The flow that it can pass is equal to the flow that the pipeline can handle. Okay, so let's say the CV on, oh no, I don't want to talk CV because let's say the flow that you can get through this valve is 100 cubic meters per hour on 100 mil. Alright, when this valve opens, you will pass exactly the same that the pipe can pass through this valve. That's full bore, okay, because it's the same size as the line size. Alright, when you get reduced bore, this valve will have a 3-inch, for instance, it can vary. It will have a 3-inch ball in it, so it's a smaller hole. Alright, so it's like a venturi, smaller, it's like an orifice, that's it. Okay, everybody okay with that? I don't want to be too complicated on this. But bottom line is, you get ball valve, you get sizes from 12 millimeter up until to very big, all different materials, full bore and reduced bore. That's basically it. But the main thing to understand for valve guys, there's not a lot of valve guys in South Africa that understand the difference between these two. You sell trunnion on high pressure, high temperature, you sell floating on low pressure. Okay.
The control characteristics is better than butterfly. Because if you get a butterfly up to 75% and so on, you actually open.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But remember the CVs on the butterflies and the CVs of the ball valves, if you look at that, I don't want to talk CVs too much here as well, because it's going to be just
technical.
It's too complicated now, for now. But if we need to go to that, absolutely good thing. Alright, can we step off ball valves for now? Remember, you can get different materials, eh? Carbon steel and stainless steel is the most common types of materials you get worldwide on applications on ball valves. Alright. A lot of people, when they stock ball valves, they stock carbon steel, which is called WCB, or A105, depends on which cars before, and then stainless steel. Whether it's 316L, whether it's 304, whether it's CF8M, but the bottom line, that's the two types.
But they will
the
have
common.
100 carbon steel and 50 stainless steel.
Correct,
Yeah.
because it's cheaper for us because you guys don't buy a lot. That's the reason. Yes. Okay.
You might actually touch a bit on segmental productions.
Yeah, I'm not the boffin on segment. You're welcome to add anything on that. But segmented ball valve, according to me, if you want to do control, it's a much better ball valve to do control with instead of a normal floating or a training on ball valve. That's about what I can add about that. Am I right in saying so?
And it's not a ball like in the sense of
It's
a
a
ball.
half a ball.
It's just half of the ball.
Okay. So it doesn't stroke 90 degrees, am I right?
Yeah, that's
60, it's still 90.
Yeah, but it's a half a ball.
Okay. So you guys got floating,
And it's got
training,
a seed,
segmented.
everything, seed rings and
Yeah.
everything, yeah.
Character.
You have
Okay. It's just a characterized ball. That's what it is.
Those ball valves, training and a floating ball normally have 2 seats. A segmental ball have 1 seat.
no.
Okay.
And then normally you use it steam or whatever.
Okay. So high pressure, high temperature.
Yeah,
Well, segmented ball valves on high temperature, that's right. But also on low pressure, I'm sure we solve that a little bit. Okay, but that's the options on ball valves, guys. Everybody fine, so on?
Yeah.
Do we need to get up 5 push-ups? Not really. Everybody's awake. We're gonna sell valves now. By the way, we've got 20 open vacancies at 3 times your salary if you want to apply. Okay.
As je wakker wordt, je koffie expert.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one. Who can remember what it was? It was globe valves. Alright, remember we said 3 ways. Angle valves, sweep angle valves. Okay, just for me to shift myself a bit, you guys can be awake. I'm just going to show you a couple of photos quickly to familiarize yourself with what I've just spoken about so that you can see the actual pixel there. I showed it, yeah? Right?
SAB is in the front of that screen.
Je glas.
Yeah? Sorry.
In je glas, niet in.
Zuid-Afrikaanse brouwerijen.
That's a lot of whiskey to make. Okay, remember we said on belt valves? Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay, doesn't matter. This one we've got. You're never gonna see that. Okay, but that was just to keep you guys curious. That's why the reason why. What can you guess the gadget? Huh? What's the gadget here? Can you see that this is a little angle valve? This is actually a hygienic valve. Hygienic valves is used in it's a globe style valve, the same as that. Can you see the difference? The body is a little angle. Sorry for the photo. At my place it was showing alright, but it seems like your rent, it's 110 volts and I'm up to 20. So basically what's different here is this is a normal globe style valve. So you get the angle valve, like what I'm showing you guys there, and then you're going to get 3-way valves, which is an inlet with 2 outlets, or it can be vice versa. Alright. Okay, let me not use that photo as an example. This one's not going to open as well. Okay. Let me go through the pictures quickly. As we get to the knife gauge valves, you would have known. Okay, so that was the picture. So I'm going to just go. Okay. That's one. Okay, that's just a globe valve, normal globe valve in application. The same as the one on the table. Okay. That's also a globe valve. The one that we never spoke. Okay, we did touch a bit. I think Eric asked a question about cryogenic services, minus temperatures.
Extended
Do you see that? That little thing there, you don't have on this valve. You see, that thing is actually supposed to be on that valve there. We've got an extension piece there. That is because it's cryogenic temperatures, it's minus temperatures. The reason for that is because the O-rings and stuff that we use in these actuators cannot handle that temperatures when the actuator is sitting there, that yellow thing.
So you can actually use it at cryogenic and high temperatures to get it away from the
correct. High temperatures and cryogenic temperatures, you take these things, the actuators, away from the body. Not as close as what it is now. Alright, good. There's a typical cryogenic application. You guys see? That ice, that's the ice that's in the whiskey of SA breweries at this point in time. You see that bracket there? Look at that, that's just ice. By the way, this Metso valves is only at Afrox. You see, I'm favorable to everybody. Alright. Okay, that one I've showed, that one I've showed. Okay, that's a little globe valve. Just with the different end connections. We didn't get to end connection because that's a different discussion on all these valves altogether because of temperature and pressure related. Okay, but it's a globe valve. That's what that little actuator that you see there looks inside with springs and stuff. Okay, that's the one we missed. I knew we missed something on butterfly valves. Damper valves. Have you ever seen these things? This is not really the normal run-of-the-mill stuff, but this is really, really low pressure butterflies, but it's a metal disc with a metal seat. This is typically stuff where you've got the stacks, you know, where excess gases goes out.
Boilers.
Where shut-off is not an issue, where you need to get excess gases and or whatever out. This is the type of dampers that you would use. It's just a big butterfly without a liner. Remember the rubber liners? Take this liner out. That's basically what a damper is. So we didn't add dampers. That's the one.
It doesn't have a leak class.
No leak rate. It's user specified. The customer says, I don't care if it leaks because you're leaking into atmosphere.
Let it leak.
Yes, correct. Okay, there's a little ball valve with an actuator on. METSO, so yes, it's a little ball valve. Alright. Okay, let's just say the globe valve, yeah. Okay, I'm going to go there, extend the bonnet. Okay, one thing we also didn't say is, remember on globe valves, while we are, okay, that's actually the next one, but I'm just going to talk about a picture. We'll get to globe valves now. On these things, you can have different materials. On any valve, you can have different materials for different medias, for different temperatures and pressures. Alright, I don't want to bore you with that same statement.
Question.
Yes.
Why do they call it a globe valve?
Lars,
I
can you answer that?
wanted to ask them.
It doesn't look like a globe or
Because the
whatever.
plug looks like a globe.
You know, let me explain it to you like this. I don't know if it's right.
The body
If you
is
take out your globe at your house, you take it out in a linear motion. And you put it out in a linear motion. Okay. So maybe that's where it's coming from. I really don't know.
And the plug looks like a globe.
Yeah, the plug inside, the thing that's doing the shut-off looks like a shape.
Double
like a
globe or whatever.
Maybe that's it.
it's a globe valve because the shape of the body is a globe.
It's a globe star.
Globe star.
It's a globe star.
It's hollow like a globe.
Sorry for the question, but
Good question.
I thought you came along.
Right. Okay, that's. Do you see the different bodies that we can get? This is a polyprop body. It's a plastic type of body. This is used on acids and stuff, where carbon steel and stainless steel doesn't do the job. You do different varieties of materials. So that's why I say you can get with this types of valves. You can get into so much detail. It's amazing. Okay, there's a nice one of a disc valve.
Sorry.
Remember we were talking?
Sorry.
Yes.
Can you enlarge the picture a bit?
Yeah. You know what? If you're asking that, you're very old.
On your right hand side,
Am I right?
right corner, you can slide it.
My eyes don't
Yeah, I can.
You can slide it.
Okay.
Yeah, your eyes can't see it.
But it comes really bad.
It's not going to
It's
look
not a good quality picture.
And then you get pixels.
That's
Yeah.
alright.
Pretty much. Remember soft rubber line butterflies? High performance butterflies? Disc valves, 5 centrics, double off centric. That's typically that. Okay. I wanted to show you photos of that. Okay, we'll get to this just now. We haven't spoken about this, but this is typical also a linear move valve like a globe valve, but it's on a diaphragm type of valve. Remember we had pinch valves? Pinch valve. The pinch valve and the diaphragm valve is used on the more or less the same applications. Alright, but we'll get to that quickly just now. But remember, Doc, that's your red question. Diaphragm valves, we need to add on that one. Okay, there's a pinch valve. For you guys that do not know what a pinch valve is, it's a rubber sleeve with an actuator on. Usually 6. Okay, these days I quoted the other day in Angola, 20 bar rated pinch valves, which is normally used on low pressure applications. Okay, so let's quickly talk mining. I just want to talk that. Remember the diaphragm valves I showed you guys just now? Diaphragm valves, pinch valves, and slide butterfly valves, believe it or not, which is not really the common one to use. It's normally what they would use in mining applications. Okay, or typically your fly ash or ash applications, stuff that's got a slurry, okay, solids, any media that contains a solid, abrasive stuff. That's correct.
Sometimes they use like a gate valve or like a slide gate valve
The knife gate valve.
with that rubber tube.
Yes,
That,
yes.
but
Yeah, it's a gate valve with a rubber tube in it.
yeah.
So what it is this little thing. There's a stainless steel shaft in there. When you put air in there, it strokes this thing, and there you see this little rubber. It pinches it like, it's open like this. It pinches it like this, so it seals off in the line. Take the pressure off, it opens again. Okay. Just roughly, let me get to that quickly. Okay. And it's just another configuration of a dosing valve, which can also be a three-way valve. Remember, we said on globe valves, three-way valves? Is we basically handle that now as well. Okay. How are we doing for time?
Don't worry about time,
10
we
minuten
here.
maar, so interessant.
Yeah,
Buiten sal gaan dan.
don't worry about time.
10 minuten, pressure wel, high pressure performance wel.
Maar die tijd nog net weer gaan worden hier, so come on.
Okay guys, I think let's get to globe valves quickly. I think you've seen the pictures, you've seen this now. You know you can do this valve from 12mm, which is very small, up until, I think Mitech have sold some 600, it's us actually, but yeah. Now you can do this valve from 12mm up until 600mm. That's very big. This valve, this is a 1-inch valve. This is a 25mm valve. Imagine this thing in 600mm. I can tell you guys, it's about 3 meters high, 2 meters wide. Sorry, and weighing about 1.5 ton.
What you can mention maybe is that the globe valve is the valve that you can do the most with.
Yes, correct.
You can
Precise control.
you can do whatever, like with the low dB and the
Correct.
anti-surge. And
Okay.
you can try and change your trims and your plugs and things. Unbelievable.
Kom ons handle nog gou. This is the nicest thing about the valve industry. This is the valve I love the most. Alright, control valves. We now said 12, any size. You can
If
make
you
this
don't
in
know
any
what to
size.
install, you get a globe valve.
No, not really. I mean,
You can flex.
if you got a 10 bar, if you got a 10 bar application, if you got a 10 bar water application, why do you want to install a ball valve? You can install this thing. Remember we said 10 bar, 15 bar rated. This is the cheapest option to go for. If you want water, if you want to just fill a tank, you want to do level on off. This thing just has to open to fill up a tank. All right. Do you want to put in? Taking a wild guess. You want to put in 20,000 rand globe valve 1-inch, a 2-inch, or do you want to put a 2-inch for 2,000 rand? Or no, not even 1,000 rand. You understand? It depends on the requirements of the customer. How critical it is in that application. Correct.
It's always the application.
Okay, so globe control valves, we said you get different styles. Remember we said sweep angle valves, those guys are sleeping, sweep angle, three-way, and all that. I'll show you some pictures of that. Okay, I think the most common used valves in the world is this thing. So if you focus on these three, you pretty much covered about 90% of the world's applications, to be honest with you guys. I've got a statistic here that I can show you, but I don't have time. Well, I've seen the amount of valves worldwide being sold. I saw that yesterday, last night, and these three came out on top. I mean, if you really look at all the projects you guys have done, the plants that you've installed, you'll see that I'm right by saying this. Okay, but it depends on the applications. Okay, so on globe valves, any size, any type of material, also on off, open close, also modulating. Okay, everybody okay with that? Then David wants me to get into a bit more technical detail. You cannot. Why does people like these valves so much? Why is there so much of these valves installed worldwide? Why is there so much of these valves control valves? Remember control valve? No? It's because it's the most precise valve to control your application with. So if you've got an offset on your controller, a second, or yes, I don't want to talk proportional, integral, derivative.
Yeah.
If you want precise control, let me not talk like that. If you want your process, the least upset to get, if you want your process to get to the set point the quickest, this is the type of valve that you would use. Globe valve. It is.
Because you can do magic with your trim.
You can. Why am I saying that? Worldwide, guys put fancy things inside here, inside this valve, to accommodate the following. And I want you will remember this when we get later to this, or whenever Fisher, Dresser, doesn't matter who's going to do the presentation, they will all get to the following stuff. There's a cavitation, there's flashing, there's noise control and stuff. Okay, Sasol 85 decibel. If you put this valve on a high pressure application and it gives you 101 decibel, you've got a problem. You can't put a standard globe valve in like that. You're not going to be able to handle that with other valve types. You're going to have to change something inside this valve to make it go lower than 85 decibel. And that's what David's referring to.
Which you
They
can't
call
do
it, sorry?
Which you can't do in a ball valve, you can't do it in a butterfly.
You cannot do that
You
in
can
the
do
other
the
valve.
globe valve, you can
Correct.
put fancy trimming.
Correct.
But in
Correct.
a ball and a butterfly, you cannot put fancy trimming.
So to accommodate
Remember that.
severeness, damage in your valves, this is the only valve that you can do fancy. They call it trims, special trims that they put inside this valve to make the noise go away. The high pressure drops go away. You understand? So, okay.
Specific series control.
Yes. Everybody okay on globe valves? It's a lot of information to take in.
But low valves you can talk a week about.
Yeah, there's some.
And if you see the presentation I've got on globe valves, it's crazy. 2 nights, 3 nights on that. Okay, can we step off control valves? The most accurate, precise valve in the world to do precise control. I'm just putting it in a nutshell.
Sizes again.
Very simple. 12 millimeter. 12 millimeter, the biggest I've seen in India was 800 millimeter globe valve. Now me, my wife, my 3 kids, no, my 2 kids. Me, my wife, and my 2 kids, we stand on each other's
So you're not part.
about the side of He's going to be on YouTube. Yeah, okay. Everybody okay with globe valve so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nou, de volgende vraag is, weet je vrouw daarvan?
I think so. Alright guys, let's quickly go to, this is going to be quick, I'm not going to be long on this, because it's very simple. I don't want to go too much on gate valves, because gate valves is more mechanical related. And it's usually before your control valves and after your control valves. And it's bypass valves,
And
etc.
shut-off
And shut-off valves, correct.
DC valves.
But let me just give you something that I've experienced with Eskom at this moment in time. Is, remember when you've got an isolating application, you want this valve to isolate. So you want zero leakage. By the way, we've got that valve, but zero leakage valves. Eh? The spec has been written in Eskom. I'm not saying Sasol, but I'm pretty sure in Sasol specs it's the same. If you want an isolating valve, if you call it an isolate valve, you want that thing to isolate. So when you close this thing, you don't want this thing to have a class 6, nor a class 4, not a class 5 metal. You want no leak through there. There's no specs in South Africa because the specs was written years ago because the technology was not available. These days there's technology available. When you say you want an isolated valve, there is valves available on the market to do isolation properly. Zero leakage. Okay, just wanted to bounce that off. When the other day when I went to a presentation at Eskom, when I told them about, would you specify a leak rated valve on an isolation valve? It's all those turbine engineers and boiler engineers. What do you mean? What do you mean? I mean, is that a fair question? Would you specify on your process an isolation valve that's got a leak rate? You will not do that. That's wrong. Because you're putting a valve in that's already wrong. So we're busy working with these guys, changing their terminology, changing their specs to say that these valves must be zero leakage because isolation is zero leakage. That's the bottom line. They're putting in class 4, class 5, class 6 valves in there. It's leak rated valves for isolation purposes. But that was just for interest sake. Just, okay. Alright, pinch valves. I think you guys saw that rubber valve that I had.
But there's
Normally,
but there's a disadvantage of a gate valve that stays closed for 2 years.
okay, but once, remember, most of the gate valves has got Stellite 6 seats and plugs.
We don't want to get into parcels.
Yeah. Problem is you can get
When you
into
want to
much
open
detail.
it, you're going to open.
Yeah.
But
That's when
you're
you
shutting
need-
off.
When it stay closed for the past 2-3 years. Okay, just saying.
Yeah, but
Yes.
when you got a bit of solids coming down there and your trims is not hardened enough, you're going to have a leak rate eventually. But yes, a lot of people put in Stellite at 6 valves years ago, which is now giving so much problems you cannot believe it. It's because of that. But that's Detail. Okay, so pinch valves, you know, mainly use pinch valve. Remember I had that photo of a diaphragm valve? Pinch valve, diaphragm valves, and these days, believe it or not, butterfly valves they use on slurry applications. The mining industry, this is the biggest run of the mill because, remember I said earlier on, lower temperatures, lower pressures. Slurries, 8 bar, 7 bar, 6 bar. This is the cheapest valves. They go for the cheaper nasties from India, China. Difficult to compete if you don't have your own product like this, to be honest. Okay, so they also use pinch valves because on pinch valves you can do a bit of control. But pinch valves, diaphragm valves, the only thing I want to get out of, I'm going to talk pinch valves. We didn't add diaphragm valves, and then that butterfly, slurry butterfly that I said. Mining industries, ants on sessile, ash and stuff. Anything, remember I said earlier on was solid zinc? That's the type of valves you go because they can handle abrasiveness. Okay.
Even on the water plants where they have,
As well, they've got
where
pinch
they've
valves.
taken out all the muck, that muck must go somewhere.
Correct.
You need the pinch
Pinch
valve.
valves. Pinch valves for that. Okay. Next one, plug valves. Okay, gate valves. Gate valves, we're not going to talk about non-rising and rising spindle. There is a lot of these in Sasol, but it's more mechanical related stuff. A lot of companies do actuate these stuff, but they do not control with this stuff because the control characteristics with this stuff it's impossible. You cannot control it. It's usually an on-off valve. That's
It's an on-off.
basically, yeah. Gate valve. I don't have a picture. Gate valve looks more or less like this. But on the mechanical side, it's just
With a plate.
Normally, gate valves got a higher bonnet. The top.
Yeah, it's a much bigger
is
bonnet.
higher because
And the body
you have
is
a
square.
gate, it must go up.
So it's a square plate they put in the body and that's
Yeah, it's a plate closing against a little seat at the bottom. Okay. But there's a lot of else of this in Sasol. The problem is with lubricated, they have to grease it. And it's a lot of maintenance intensive and all that. But it's per application, again.
If you ever see this, this Coca-Cola walking around with this big Spanish, it's got a little hook and a
That's
little
it.
thing.
That's it,
It's
gate
to open
valves.
those valves.
It's gate valves. It's to open these
They're
things.
always stuck.
These things. They wanted to isolate, but it's not the
Valve
isolation valve because it's a class 4
yeah.
or a class
So
3
they have
unit.
to tighten it.
So I have to tighten it more, so they're still at 6 welding breaks because they don't have the right welding, but at that stage, years ago, that was the run-of-the-mill stuff. Okay, plug valves, I'm not going to go. Plug valves should use on, also it's on slurry applications, also stuff with solids in, it's got a taper plug. But the problem is I can't talk plug to you guys because we need to go into next phases, talking plugs and seats, characteristics, etc., etc. It's just a plug valve will also be used in applications which is slurry wise, etc. Also, okay, not high pressure, high temperature valves. Okay, so we're going to finish off with knife gate valves. I don't think I had a knife gate picture, but it's just a square blade which has been round off. And this thing opens and closes like a knife gate, like a globe valve, linear motion. And there's a seat in the body at the bottom. It's a square thing, the whole thing. Alright, this is the body. Inside the body, you've got a little seat there. And then you've got this blade, which is square. And it's like this. So it's got the actuator on and opens and closes. Alright, so you usually use this. I've got an order now on about 90 of these valves, which is going to Angola on iron ore. The application is iron ore. Remember, knife gate valves, it's low pressure, low temperature as well. This is also the valve that they use in the mining a lot. So if you talk butterfly valves, you talk knife gate valves, mining industry a lot.
You normally have also a rubber seat. It's not
Yes,
a high temperature thing with a metal seat.
yes, okay. I think I've got
And you get a through gate as well.
I've got a photo here of just to show that I'm biased. Oh, let me just see that. Nope, it's not it. Where is that photo? It was one of, no, it wasn't one of, yeah, you see, it was one of the PDFs that I cannot open. It was a knife gate valve. Sorry, okay, I couldn't. The nicest thing would be if I had a bit more time, I would have shown you guys all these valves, but this is what I had available at that time. Okay, so knife gate valves. So just conclude quickly. Knife gate valves, diaphragm valve, pinch valve. what you use in low pressure, sluggish type of application where there's dirt in the water. Let's call it like that. Okay? Ball valves, remember, floating, trunnion mount, trunnion, high pressure, high temperature, floating, low pressure, low temperature, globe valve, accurate, precise control, different materials. You can use this oxygen, you can use Monel, Hastor, all different materials in the world you can think. If you want precise control, globe valve is the first option. Okay, so I'm going to go quickly. I'm going to finish off, Kobus, by just showing you guys two things here, which I think this will help a bit. That's scrubbing a bit there. So first of all, looking at the type of valve, everybody can see here. This is a brewery. Alright, type of valve. If you want to select the type of valve, first of all you need to know the CV, just getting to the size. CV is, let me put it simple, I don't want to tell you it's the amount of water that's passing through a valve in so many gallons per minute, with a pressure drop or so. I don't want to go, that's technical, you'll get that when you get to globe valves later, whoever's going to do that. Okay, CV is just the capacity of the valve, how many flows the valve can handle. So it does not help you to say, I want 100 cubic meters to go through this valve and it can only pass 80. So you're doing it incorrectly, you need to go to a bigger size. Just simple, that's a very simple set. Okay, so to select the type of valve, you've got the process data. Remember, that's one thing we didn't start off with, I was supposed to start off with that, which is the most important. What is the most important in selecting the type of valve? What do you need to know? I want to design a plant now. A bit of overbit, sorry. I'll put one in pressure. You need to know what the pressure is. That valve, remember we said this thing is limited to 10-15 bar. This thing can handle 500 bar, believe it or not. Okay, so type of valves, flows. Okay, we say pressure.
Media.
Right?
Media. What you
The media, what's going through, absolutely why? Because it makes you decide what type of valve you can use. Let's say you can't get a Staloy butterfly, but you can do it in a control valve. You understand? Depends now again on off, modulating, whatever, and all that. But yes, okay. So pressure is important because you don't want to put this valve in on a 30 bar application that can only handle 10 or 15 bar. You're wrong. Okay. Next thing, pressure. We said media. Remember temperature? You can't put this valve going in on 300 degrees. Because remember those rubbers can only take 80 degrees Celsius. Okay. And then flow.
I'll mention the most important one last. Let them
Yes,
just go
flow.
through all the requirements.
Yeah, sure. Flow. Remember flow? You need to know how much flow needs to pass through this valve. If you don't know that, you've got a problem because you can't pass 100 cubic meters through a valve that can only handle 30 cubic meters. You understand? So it's an important thing. There's just 4 or 5 elements. And last thing, okay, another thing that helps is usually the line size. Because usually the line size is, and I'm sure you handled that in your data sheets presentations the previous time. The line size for the valve guys, the line size is a very good indication of what material to use on their valves and also more or less what size. So they can determine more or less, if this is a 3-inch line, we know a valve that can handle 3 inch, this is, and then you take it further by looking at all the other stuff, okay? And then pressure drop. Pressure drop across the valve is very important. Can this low pressure valve handle that pressure drop? No. Can that globe valve handle it? Yes, if you put different trims inside there to accommodate it. But that's a next presentation on globe valves. Okay? So, okay, let's quickly say.
Yes, on that.
Say something quickly.
Sure.
And that is why you have, all the valve companies have sizing programs.
Yes.
And they all do the
Because
same
you
thing.
can size
They
your valve according to the application, according to the process data to select your valve, so you can select the correct valve.
Correct.
And that's why we have sizing programs.
Correct.
But just
And I'm sure most of you guys have learned about that in the college.
If you guys haven't learned about, we do sizing and selection of valve courses. I'm not supposed to market myself. I don't say which company. So.
But what I want to say is, the most important is, you ask the guys whether it's gas or liquids,
Correct. The medium.
and
That's what
then
he
the
said.
next thing you ask them, is it clean or is it solids?
Correct.
Because after you've sized it and it's, I can speak in South Europe, after you've sized it and everything, you've selected an anti-cap, they tell you there's solids in it. The whole handicap thing
Problem.
is down the drain because it's gonna
It's not going to work.
So,
Yeah. So this thing that I've got here, the slide, just to run through quickly through it, is based on a globe valve. All right. This globe valve that we're talking about. Remember, the most accurate valve to control in the world, and not the cheapest, but if you want good control, that's the valve. So you select the type of valve by having that process data. Remember, inlet pressure, outlet pressure is actually important, the media, the temperature, the line size, the differential pressure. Okay, then you calculate the flow, and when you've calculated the flow, you would know what type of valve you need to use. Alright, and then you select the valve with the size, and then you calculate the stuff, because we said you cannot put a 100 decibel valve into Sasol, is that correct? Because the standard says 85 decibel maximum. So you need to put something into your valve to accommodate that. We said that earlier. And then you size the actuator and the materials. Okay, that's just, but later in the control valves you'll see that. Okay, this is the most interesting part. Believe it or not, if you're sleeping now, you're going to miss a lot, because this will look good on your CV, trust me. Alright, this is just a quick one. We're just going to do one or two examples. If you look at the line size, the maximum pressure, the temperature, I'm not going to go the peaking route now, slurry or control. Remember we said on off or control? And this is the valves more or less that we've discussed. There is one or two, like the parallel slide valve and the wedge gate, which is the same as that, gate valves and stuff. Let's quickly see how it eliminates the stuff. And there's also... Alright, so let's say we take a 100 ml line size valve. Alright, you've got a line size of 100 ml. The pressure, we say it's less than 1000 kPa. Alright? And we say the temperature is more than 200 degrees. Do you see it's taking... Yes, Jaco, kry hierdie ding. Net dat 'n bietjie. Wag even. Sorry. That's it. That's it. This is the most important to the customer, the price indicator. You see these things. What are they saying on this application where we are now? They're saying the globe valve is one of the most expensive ones. You agree? Number 6, eccentric disc valves. Remember the disc valves we had? As per this application is so far the cheapest. Alright, so
Ek gee weer nie, ons het die heel aan probeer.
yes, alright, so we got a 100 ml line size valve, we got less than 1000 kPa as per your applications. We're saying the maximum temperature exceed 200 degrees, so you can only look at a gate valve, slide gate valve, which is gate valve, eccentric disc, rotary plug, a globe valve, a ball valve, or a plug valve. Alright, that's the type of valves that you can look at. Is it a slurry? Let's say yes now. What are they saying now? This is only 2 valves that can do that. So which is your cheapest valve here? Number 14.
Plug valve.
Alright, the plug valve. So you use that on a slurry. You want to control with it? Let's go there. So basically that eliminates the plug valve because of the characteristics on the plug valves, etc., etc. So what are they saying? On this application, if you want to specify to your valve guy, you'll tell him, I want a metal seated ball valve for control, yes, more than 200 degrees, less than 1000 kPa, and it's 100 millimeter size. That's just an indication for you guys to more or less decide what type of valve you want to use. Just one more quickly. Give me an example, anybody, any size. It's nice to play with this thing.
450.
450, alright. So we say the line size 450. 450, alright. Maximum pressure, let's go more than 10,000 kPa. Alright. Alright. Look where we now, we're already at only a metal seated ball. Okay, let's go to the low pressure stuff. Let's go less than 1000 kPa, less than 1000 degrees. There we're already on the butterflies, and we say it's not a slurry. Alright. So look at these options that you've got here. What are they saying? They say if you've got a 450 millimeter valve, and it's less than 1000 kPa. Remember 1000 kPa is 10 bar, eh? What did we say? You can use this thing on 10 bar. What is this program telling you now? What is your first option, the cheapest option? Go for the standard butterfly. Okay. And it's less than 100 degrees. Remember I said 80 maximum?
Just make it minus 170 degrees.
No, I don't have that option. That'll be available in 5 years time. Alright, so guys, do you see this typical valve selection guide? So there is some stuff available for you guys to make easy selections and query your guy. It's as simple as that. Alright, so I'm going to end off because I feel I've spoken a lot. I don't think this thing, because I had internet there. Oh. That's it, that's me.
Which valve is that?
And it's you.
Go on, mate.
Help elkaar, dit is pellen. Dit is pellen.
Dis pelle.
Dit is pellen.
Dis pelle.
Help elkaar, help elkaar. Dit is pellen.
I'm finished. Richard.